everyone. Can you hear me fine here?
Yep.
Okay, so I don't think I need this then.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. My name is Anju Sharma. I'm a physical therapist and I work with Kaiser Permanente, and my specialization is occupational medicine. I've been a physical therapist for 25 years of my life, and I've worked in 3 different countries, India, Canada, and US. And I've worked in many settings. I've done acute, I have done skilled nursing, I've done hospital-based. Over the years, I developed my interest in lifestyle medicine and nutrition and holistic health. And holistic health is not complete without talking about nutrition. I'm a mom of 2 14-year-olds right there, Anusha. So hence my interest in teen nutrition kind of got stronger and stronger. So that's why I'm presenting on teen nutrition. And I'll be talking about physical therapy as well at the end of this presentation. So if you have any questions, please stop me. I'm happy to answer any questions, even within the presentation as well. For teen nutrition, we all know that teenage is a formative years. And whatever you do during this teenage time, it basically makes a foundation for the rest of your life. Physically, it's very, very important because they are growing at this age, they have their growth spurts. So the knowledge of right kind of nutrition is super important here. So that's why we're talking about here nutrition at this time. What I would suggest, as a mom and as a physical therapist, starting early is very, very important. So start talking to your child, even when the child is not a teen or very early in the teens, start talking to them about, the importance of nutrition and not just food. Food is not just like something to fill your stomach. Food is something that gives you energy. Food is something that gives you strength. And it gives you the foundation of how your body would be, when you get into adult life. So start talking to them about that. And we all know that lecturing never works. It's always about conversation. What they like, what they don't like, what kind of foods they like to eat. So talk to them, have a conversation with them. And that's kind of the way I feel like as a mom, that's where you kind of gather important data, like, okay, this is what my child likes. I can speak from my own experience. My son, his nutrition comes from drinks. So I have to make sure that he's having like healthy drinks, making something out of homemade lemonades, smoothies. So he takes like all liquid kind of nutrition most of the time, yogurt smoothies, milk smoothies. So that's where I have to kind of innovate as a mom. I know my daughter, she likes cheese-based and she likes like milk-based products. So then I have to kind of innovate. I'm like, okay, what can I make out of cheese? What can I make out of milk? So that's the kind of communication you want to have. Like, okay, this is what my child likes, and this is what I'm going to provide. So that's what I feel like as a mom is important. And if you see any kind of changes in the eating behavior, or any, I would say like red flags, any alarming changes, and you need a professional support, talk to your doctor. Primary doctor, talk to your nutritionist, and they are professionals. They will help you with your child health. So they're smart eating habits, and they're actually simple eating habits as well. Have regular meals, 3 meals a day is very important. And in between have healthy snacks, like fruits, carrots, celery. So through any kind of vegetable or fruit or any kind of I would say good quality fruit juice. If it's freshly squeezed, wonderful. Otherwise, good brand low sugar fruit juices are also like good snacks as well. The focus should be on fiber as well, not just like protein and grain and all those things, but fiber is also very, very important. So make sure your child is eating enough servings of fruits and vegetables. Broccoli is wonderful for fiber, but any fruits your child likes, zucchini, carrots, any kind of fruit, oranges are very good for fiber, they're very good for calcium as well. So any kind of their preferences, just go with that. Hydration is very important as well. So at this age, we all know that the teens are exploring with food, and there are so many types of drinks out there in the market, and usually they are not very healthy. I mean, this is again as an experience from a mom's side is they are mostly like carbonated water. They're mostly like sodas, and they do kind of add a few elements of health, but just be careful, look at the ingredients properly and see what your child is drinking if you're choosing your hydration from that side. But water is great for hydration, and fruit juices, especially squeezed, are wonderful. They have a lot of nutrient elements. Protein choices, so protein is definitely important. They are building up muscle at this time. They're growing, growth spurt, so you definitely want to have a good amount of protein in their diet. And the recommendation is, around 56 grams in boys and 46 grams in girls who are kind of, not in sports. If you're in sports, your protein intake should be even more, and it can be around like 104 grams. So you have to see what your child is, how much active your child is, and what it needs for all the different kind of protein. Any questions so far? So this is a plate that U.S. Department of Agriculture suggests. So you can just type this choosemyplate.gov and you can look at this plate. It kind of gives you an idea, how much fruits and vegetables your child needs. So if you look at this side here, on your left side, half of your plate is fruits and vegetables. So that's the kind of serving you're looking at. And then the half is protein and grains. So 1/4 is protein and 1/4 is grain. And then you should have dairy as well. So low fat, dairy, cheese, milk, paneer is like dairy as well. So you need to have some portion of dairy as well. So this is a plate that is suggested by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The QR code for looking at that balanced plate, so you can go to that site or you can kind of take the QR code here. So that is where it is. And we'll dive in the exercise. So as I said, exercise and nutrition both go hand in hand. So you have to have 60 minutes of daily exercise, which is recommended for teens. They could be a mix of activities, aerobic activities. It's good for, pumping your heart, having good circulation. You can go for strength training, so lifting weights, building muscles, very important. Any kind of agility exercise that you like, you can do that. Yoga is wonderful. How many people practice yoga here? Great. So yoga is there are different kind of yogas. I will not get into too much of detail of it, but I just want people to know that yoga, what we know here, is just a stretching yoga. So that is great, that's wonderful for stretching and flexibility. But yoga is also there's a laughter yoga, there is a yoga for your lungs as well, to improve your pulmonary function as well. So I would say explore different kind of yogas. Laughter yoga is good for your stress as well, busting the stress. And laughter yoga and pulmonary yoga is good for your lung function as well. So I would say explore that. So yoga is a wonderful exercise. It's good for mindfulness, it's good for strength, and it's good for stretching as well. You can do walking, you can do biking, you can do swimming, any activity that your child is interested in. Your child is interested in basketball, encourage your child in basketball. Your child likes to do soccer, go for soccer. Your child likes swimming, go for swimming. So again, it is all about communication with your child, what your child likes. So do not lecture, that never helps. Always a conversation, what you like, what can I provide, and have some kind of, give and take kind of relationship. Okay, so welcome to physical therapy. So I have two different types of presentation today. One is mainly geared towards physical therapy because that's my profession, and one is team nutrition, which is my passion. So we'll get into physical therapists, and so physical therapists are the people who actually help you with your mobility needs. But it's mainly geared towards injury. So if you're just looking to build muscle, if you're just looking to kind of do exercises, you probably have to ask for different professionals like ATC, athletic trainers, those are the people that you need to go to. But if you have an injury, like your child is playing some sport and gets injured, so that's where the physical therapists come into. They're movement experts. So physical therapists are licensed doctors which are specialized in movement studies, and they help patients from all ages to improve the mobility and function. And physical therapists are recognized by American Physical Therapy Association. So the physical therapy, if you take your child to a physical therapist, they'll examine, they'll diagnose, they'll do all the assessments, your range of motion, tightness, stiffness, they'll do kind of all different kind of orthopedic tests, and they will make a customized plan. They'll plan your treatment to help and develop a personalized program to address specific issues that's needed. Physical therapists are also trained to help the child prevent the injuries as well. So that's an important part of our profession as well. So definitely talk to your physical therapist and see where you need the education. How am I doing the time?
You're good. I'm doing good.
Okay. So for how physical therapy can help teens, they can help with sports performance. If your child is an athlete, they can help you with improving their sports performance. And they are physical therapists who are specialized in that. So they are specialized in sports medicine. Posture correction is very important. Most of the times we are working on laptops and desktop, and we are doing activities which are geared more towards spinal flexion. So we always, I wouldn't say always, like most of the teenagers that I see, they have those rounded shoulders and their postures are going like this, and not so the teenagers, like us as well. So all our work is like geared towards spinal flexion. So posture correction is very important as well, and physical therapists can provide some exercises, some shoulder retractions, some shoulder shrugs, and shoulder movements. So those are good exercises for your posture correction. The simple exercise that I just want to share here is a shoulder retraction. So you just have your hand here, you move your shoulders back, and then you try to squeeze the muscles between your shoulder blades. So that's a simple posture correction exercise that I think we all should do it, given the kind of work we do. So if you do it like 10 repetitions a day, divided in twice kind of day, that should be good enough for those muscles. Recovery support, that's what physical therapists do as well. If there are any injuries, they kind of help you with assessment, they help you with finding out what the problem is, and they will give you a customized plan to what to do. So that's important, and they do help in developing lifelong habits, which is also part of their practice. So where do you find physical therapy? Where do they work? So we work in many different settings. Almost all the settings you can think about. So we work in hospitals, outpatient clinics, skilled nursing facilities, home health, almost like all the settings are covered. So any setting that you need help with, we're there to provide the services. So I know there are teenagers here, and they are probably thinking about what kind of profession they want to get in, what career they want to choose in their life. So that's why I thought I'll add some kind of slides on what you need to become a physical therapist. So overall, you need 7 to 8 years of studies to become a physical therapist. You have to have a bachelor's degree, and bachelor's degree can be from 3 to 4 years depending on what your majors are. And after that, there's a DPT program. DPT is Doctor of Physical Therapy. That is a 3-year program, and there are a lot of schools around here. UCSF is here, Fresno State provides that. There are a lot of like schools around in the Bay Area, and there are out-of-state schools as well. I know AD State University in Arizona also provides that. That's considered a good school in Arizona. So those are the schools, and all the schools have some different requirements. So they can basically ask you for anywhere, the prerequisites are usually the same, the courses are usually the same, but volunteer hours can differ from school to school. And the range kind of goes from 50 hours of volunteer hours to 500 hours. So you choose your school, they will tell you exactly how many volunteer hours you need just to apply to their DPT program. And after you're graduated, not graduated, I would say, after you're at the end of your DPT program, you have to have clinical experience as well. So you have to do some clinical rotations. And then, which is usually like 22 weeks on an average, but depends on the school that you apply to. And then after that, you have to pass a license exam, which is by the state of California. And they're from different states, like if you're from a different state, then you have to pass that state exam, and they have their own requirements. Once you pass, then you can go and find a job. Pretty simple. All right. So in conclusion, I would say holistic health is the best way to look at your whole body health, and good nutrition and exercise, where the physical therapy comes into picture. Those are the two key important things to have good health, especially in our teens here. So I'm just going to read the conclusion right here. Good nutrition and physical therapy are both essential for teen health. A balanced diet provides the necessary nutrients for growth, energy, and overall well-being, helping to prevent future health issues. At the same time, physical therapists play a crucial role in injury prevention, rehabilitation, and promoting proper movement and exercise. They help teens stay active, recover from injuries, and build strength safely. By combining proper nutrition with physical therapy, teens can develop lifelong habits that support their overall health and well-being. So that's all for my presentation. Any questions?
What's the average salary?
That's a good question. I was expecting this question. I'm glad you asked it. So it depends on which setting you're working. So if you're working in acute or you're working in skilled nursing, home health and skilled nursing, they pay a little bit higher. Outpatient pays a little bit on the lower side, but the average that I was looking at, is 145K or 150K. That's the average salary of a physical therapist in the Bay Area. But it depends from state to state. If you're going to a different state, your salary could differ by, I would say, 10%. But California is the state which kind of, I would say, gives the maximum salary at this point.
I had a question.
Sure.
So most kids, in high school, even through undergraduate studies, when they have this inclination towards pre-med, there are only a few of them who really know that, okay, I'm going to medical school. A lot of them are still contemplating, are there other health careers that they might be interested in, which are not that time consuming, because going into medical school and then specializations, it really does take a lot of time, and it besides resilience and compassion and the energy that you need to put in, there's a lot else that can change in one's life, to make different decisions.
Right.
So what would your recommendation be for kids who are inclined towards medical school and are also considering physical therapy, and if everything remains the same, do you suggest that they go all out, or they consider this, or in the overall scheme of things, right? Most children, they are not just I hope that they're not just looking at salaries, they're not just looking at, a job market which will never go in recession. Besides these 2 points, what are the other motivations for students to make, think in directions of medical school or physical therapy school or other healthcare careers?
That's a great question. And you kind of covered 2 points, which are pretty important, salary and, will you have job 20 years later on, how are they are you going to take your job? So those are important considerations, and I'm glad you covered those. I think apart from that, what I would say is look at what you believe in. So I can kind of speak from my own experience. Growing up, my dad, he is a retired maths teacher, and I was very interested in maths, and I'm still very interested in maths. So maths, physics was like a very common thing in our family, and everybody in my family was going in engineering. So professor in physics, maths, engineering. So that was a kind of my family background, and my dad expected that I'm going to go in engineering as well. But I was kind of a little different. I was thinking on the points like, okay, do I want to spend my life, working with machines, or do I want to spend my life talking to people and working with people? So that was my decision-making point there, and I always loved talking to people, and I always wanted to do something where I have more interaction with people. So that's why I just went in the medicine area. Physical therapy is a specialized area in medicine, and the benefits of doing physical therapy is that you have normal working hours depending on what you choose. If you're going for outpatient, you have very normal working hours. You have 8 to 5 kind of job. You have a balance of life, family life and your working life. You do not have any emergency calls. Like in the midnight, nobody's going to call you, hey, there's a patient, come and see the patient, which happens to doctors, and I really respect that they do that. But those were the few things that I was thinking about. Okay, like what kind of life I want to lead and what I see myself doing in the long run. So I would say just look at, kind of, explore yourself, ask yourself questions. How do you want to see yourself 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the lane? And what do you kind of, value more, and what you like to do, and just, answer will come by itself.
Right, and there's no one right answer.
There's no one right answer.
Yes,
there's
it all
no right
depends on
wrong
the individual.
answers. Some people like this, some people like this, some kids are good in different areas, some people are good in different areas. So whatever works for you, I would say just do that, because whatever you're doing, you will be doing that in Bay Area. Usually you'll be doing that for 10 hours at least.
Yes.
1 hour you're driving, 1 hour you're coming back, 8 hours at the beginning of the job. You will be doing that 10 hours of your life every day, and those 10 hours are your productive hours of your day. So if you don't like what you're doing, you will not do it, as well as you want to. So job is not just something to earn money, not just for paycheck. It's something that you really kind of, want to see yourself doing, and you want to see how you are making a difference in your life and in your community as well. So you have to see that, what gives you the satisfaction. So look into those things, and I know teenagers, they're all thinking about these questions. So look at your passion, look at what you like to do, and what gives value to your life. Apart from 2 things that Pallavi said.
Yes.
Those are 2 important things as well. Salary is very important. You still have to pay a bill later.
Yes.
So that's important, and plus you want to be in business and have a job for next 20 years at least, 20, 30 years of your work life. So look at those.
Wonderful.